My name is Trevor Nelson, Jason Ledlow, HGA Fundraising. That doesn't mean I'm going to kick it off. If you want to let folks come in.
No, let's do it. Let's go.
Far out. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, once again. Oh, happy Halloween. Okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, forgot about that part.
Brought candy in for the kids this morning.
You what now? You brought candy?
I brought candy in for the kids this morning, yeah.
Jason's at HGA HQ in Edmond, Oklahoma. Full disclosure, I'm in far Northern California. I had forgotten it was Halloween today because we did the Halloween parties and the fall festival for my 6-year-old. All that it was nonstop. There was no weekend. The weekend got gobbled up. But yeah, hey, if this is your first time here, thanks so much for coming. Great to meet you. And we're HGA Fundraising. We provide the most profitable auction items in fundraising. But what we're very passionate about doing is offering free resources like the webinar, podcasts, free coaching, because we're very, very passionate. We're students of fundraising, and we give our best information away for free. So we're talking about something really, really cool today as well, the law of large numbers. And Jason's going to get into the weeds with us on that right away and give us some statistics, some data, and what that really means as it pertains to fundraising. And then we're going to get into engagement at your event with donors and how we can apply those stats and law of large numbers to your events. We had a really good conversation. You had some really cool stuff to say about, creating a giving atmosphere and things like that. I want to get into that. But house cleaning, chat feature on the side. Calvin's already using it. Do us a favor. Hey, talk to each other. Tell us where you're at. Talk to each other. Communicate. This, that, and everything. Pass your business cards off, with links and all that good stuff. And then Q&A function at the bottom. If you want to ask questions anonymously or non-anonymously, you can do so. Q&A function at the bottom, chat feature over. This is going to be an interactive discussion. So any questions, anytime, pertinent or otherwise, we'll get to them. And then lastly, you probably thought I was going to forget this, man. State of the end and win. We're going to give away something cool because we're very gracious at HGA. We're very gracious.
Trevor's lost his mind. He's giving away everything.
I say the same thing about you when when you're not around. He just gives. We're like Yosemite Sam over here, just giving stuff away. But we're going to give away something at the end of the show. And then one more thing. If you're watching this on YouTube, inevitably you probably will be at some point. But don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment, a question. We'll get to those. So I think that's 3 minutes or less.
I think you nailed it.
House cleaning. Yeah, cool. Hey, Robin, far out, Thousand Oaks. Thanks for coming back, Robin. It's good to see you again. Thousand Oaks, the 805. It's nice down there. I hope it's a nice day. I'm up in Redding, and it's going to be, a little cold and, mild rain off and on. But we got to fill up those.
Sunny in the 60s here in the big metro of Oklahoma City.
Perfect. Yeah. We need that rain up here, though, Robin, so we can send it down to y'all in Southern California. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not cross about it. I'm just saying the reality. But yeah, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Let's talk about the law of large numbers, man.
Well, before we do that, I thought this would be really good to give some statistics.
Good. Yeah.
There's some numbers, and I'll just tell you, this is where I got this. It's called Define Financial. They just put a bunch of statistics. This is all from 2023. And I think some of them y'all may know, but you may not. Hey, Kate.
Nice.
This is all of dollars this is in dollars that were donated for 2023. 20% of all donations, and this is not of the donations, but of dollars, came from corporations, which is more than what it has been. Typically we hear it's about 7%, but it's of all giving. 80% from individuals, 80% of all dollars. The average giving in the United States per person is $737.
Okay.
60% of all U.S. households do some type of giving.
Like that.
High net worth families, this is kind of interesting. Their annual giving is around $29,000, and everybody else is $2,500 a year. So, it gives you some significantly more, but there is that deal of the numbers. The average online donation is $177.
Wow, that's higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, 177. And this is, I think, probably the coolest thing. The United States gives 7 times more than our European counterparts. Who here, let me ask you a question. Who thinks, you just comment, whatever. Who thinks is the more donating, the United States or Canada?
Per capita, who does more donating? Per capita?
Just per capita. Yeah. Who's more generous? So Kate says Karen says Canada. Kate says Karen. Kate says Canada. Robin says
I'm going to say per capita because it's such a small country.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's like, is there a trick here? I'm very optimistic and
No, it's just
on this being the
just
greatest country.
because, you know, Canadians are, you know, thought of as being very.
They're a very, very jovial, very polite bunch. I've worked with them in the past.
Well, I'll just tell you, the
Canada.
United States 2-1
Per capita.
outgives them 2-1. Yeah.
Because and what you said about Europe and in comparison to the United States, I just thought we're just a more giving culture, for better or for worse. It's just ingrained in us.
7 of the top 10 states are in the South. Oklahoma, where I'm from, is in the top 10. We're like, I think, number 7.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
I was wondering if folks were shocked or if you were shocked when you read that stat about 20% of giving coming from corporations and 80% coming from individuals. And then my follow-up question was, I wonder if those individual giving, if that includes those the 990 foundations and stuff that are personal. I'm assuming that probably is the case. But even with all I'm not shocked, frankly, answering my own question, the 20% of giving from corporations, I think that's going to change. You tell me what you think, and then folks, you know, let's get going back and forth.
Well, I think, you know, the reason I'm bringing this up, because the law of large numbers, you know, the law of large numbers, it's really pertains to something else. I always think about it in business giving. The more people we can get involved, it takes on a whole new energy of its own.
Yeah,
the more people. Kate, Tennessee is the 4th. Utah is number 1. 0.6% of gross annual income. Mississippi's number 2. Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, Idaho, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and North Carolina.
We couldn't even sneak in there in California, huh?
Nope.
Couldn't even sneak in the top 10. We got the biggest economy.
Well, you know, you'd think with California and Texas, one of those would be in there, and they're not.
Yeah. Interesting. Robin, I thought the same thing. When you said Utah, I thought, yeah, and then the South as well. I'm assuming it probably does, yeah, because there's a lot of...
Well, it just says all giving. It just says all giving. Okay, so how do we use the law of large numbers as it pertains to fundraising, how to make more money in our events? So I wrote some things down, and this is really a discussion more than just some specific things, but going back to that whole idea of the 20% corporation, 80%, you know, the 20-80 rule. 20% of our people give us 80% of our money, right?
Yeah,
20% is 80%. And I will tell you that religious giving is down significantly from what it was, you know, a couple of decades ago. So that just back to the whole thing with religion. So people are just very generous here, but you got to ask them. And how do we get them involved? How do we get them done, especially with our events? How do we get more people? You know, I like to use the word, Trevor and I like to say, we want to be equal opportunity receivers. We want to be able to take donations from everyone. A couple of ways. I'm going to start with the very first one. I think this is one of the ones that is easiest for organizations to take care of. And and everybody's going to probably say, Jason, we already do this. But do you really do it? Do you really go all in? And this is a question. Okay. So this is, you know, I'm going to give you some thoughts about some organizations that I've seen that go all in and what that means and how it works, how it's worked for them. But what is in your event that, you know, typically everything that we're doing around that is around the event. It's fundraising around the event and not fundraising as an event. You know, making this event that we're doing, it's going to be November 15th. We're having our annual gala, and we're going to have 400 people show up, and we're trying to raise $150,000. All, you know, you can go through all the numbers, however you want to do it. But you do all that, but how many of us really make that a fundraising event where basically it's almost like a fundraiser without walls? We have the walls, we have that going on, but let's broaden it out all across. You know, I want you to, and here's where I'm going. I want you to think about it like, you know, we just had the World Series wrap up, and I was thinking about how many people are tuned in watching the World Series.
North of 10 million, I think, something like that was what I was.
Somehow, some way, everybody has pretty much heard about the World Series in the past week.
Yeah.
Whether you're a baseball fan where you don't even know what baseball is, you've probably heard that the World Series was at least going on. Now, maybe you participated, maybe you didn't. Maybe you tuned in, maybe you didn't. But you still probably heard something about it. And the reason is, it goes so much further out than the ballpark.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how many people Yankee Stadium holds.
70,000.
Yeah, something like that. But it's spilled out to millions. And the reason is because they don't make it just inside the ballpark. They make it about the event that flows outside the ballpark.
They broadcast. Yeah.
Well, they do. Well, they broadcast. That's one way.
I think that's a great term to use for when you're talking about the event itself, just broadcasting it.
But we're not talking about just broadcast on TV.
Right.
Broadcast in radio,
clips, reels, the whole
email,
streaming,
social media. Everything is about that. There's no reason you can't, if you think about an organization, your gala is your World Series. It's your Super Bowl. It's everything, all those things tied into it.
Without a competitor.
You may only receive, we only receive 25% of our money for, our deal, or 20%, 10%, whatever that is. But it's still pretty significant. And the idea is, if you use this as the event to reach out to everyone, to really broadcast it out, your mission, what you do, then you get that same effect. Because the law of large numbers, you're going to get so many more people. Think about it. If we could just get this out to another 100 people, well, the average gift is $177. That's $17,700 over and above anything you get, if that's the average, to do that. Show of hands real quick. Who here has ever thought about their event as the Super Bowl? The World Series? Anybody?
I love that though, man.
So that's where the whole idea of, thank you, Calvin. And where I'm trying to go with this is, if we start looking at, because we all get very focused inside, what I'd say inside the stadium, inside of our event. We're thinking about how many people we're going to do, who's going to volunteer, do I have my sponsorships, do I have my underwriting, do I have my items, do I have my auctioneer, do I have the sound, do I have all those pieces that we get so tied up into. Thanks, Kate, about saying Giving Tuesday is your Super.
I have something to say about that.
But I want to come back because I'm going to ask Kate. Kate, is that your number one fundraiser, Giving Tuesday?
Good question.
I'm just asking.
There's no right or wrong answer, by the way.
My point of this is you can do this with it just because you have it. That's why I was going to say. That's why I figured your gala probably is. It typically is. And that's why, this becomes your individual piece for everything that you could do to reach out to hundreds, if not thousands of more people that are never going to come to your event, people that are, and I had this conversation with one of our guys. He just came to work for us. His name's Tim Monahan. Very, very smart, super gifted.
Brilliant fundraiser.
Yeah, he worked for a national nonprofit. We were very fortunate to get him on our team. And one of the things that he was in charge of was membership, and for this organization was their membership and
online fundraising,
things like that. And what he said was, we have people that will never come to a gala. They're never going to come to a banquet. They're never going to show up to anything. They're just not. They're just not going to do. They got other things going on. They're going to support us because they want to be a member. They want to get the magazine. They want to get
also part of a community.
Other stuff. They're part of that community. Yeah. But they're just not going to show up. They're not going to go to a gala. They've got other things to do. Whatever. That's just not their thing. And I think that if we all look at it that same way, if we broaden our tent and we start thinking about our fan base is our donor base, and that we make this an event, so then we can expand far beyond the walls of our fundraiser. That's what's happening within that, because we all get caught up in it. That's what we do. We're in the fundraising business, and we don't spend any time talking about this stuff. Very little. Now, there are some software companies that talk about it. We kind of learned this stuff during COVID when everything was shut down because we had to. And as soon as COVID's over, what do? Everybody came back into the building and everybody wanted to have a party again. And it all became about them. And so my thought is, and some organizations that we've seen do very well with this have made it a point. I'm not talking about technology where you're broadcasting it. That's quite frankly,
you can do that if you want.
I'm on the fence about it. I don't know that there's great.
If you do it and it works, fine.
Yeah.
Every event has its own atmosphere. If you want to do that,
but there's no reason. You can absolutely, without question, make this an opportunity to ask for more donations to power the mission that you provide that helps society. And when you do that, you're going to have a reason to reach out to people multiple times. We always talk about, how many times after an event you need to thank them 7 times before you ask them for money again. Well, this is the time you get to ask everybody for money. You get to broaden it out as much as you can, because not everybody's going to come to your event. Not everybody's going to be part of your mission. They're not all going to be able to underwrite. And we know that 80% of individuals, 80% of giving comes from individuals.
Yeah.
This is how to get those individuals involved in your mission. It's just a way to get it done.
Let me ask a question. Let me
Please.
interrupt real quick. Yeah, Kate brought up a really interesting point, and I really appreciate you being open to sharing, Kate. And you said Giving Tuesday is our Super Bowl, and I'm going back to what Jason said: Super Bowl, World Series. But then we also identified. I love that you're calling your gala that big event, and Kate, yours is the biggest fundraiser you have is your gala. That's pretty common with the folks that we talk to. You know what I mean? Unless you're just nailing it with the monthly recurring or. And we've once again, Jason said he's the one that coined the phrase equal opportunity receivers. Take it from all angles. You know what I mean? Take it every avenue you can. What was interesting is like, I don't know what my mind went to this, but you said call your event, or how many of us call our event the World Series or the Super Bowl? The one cool thing about it is there's no competition. It's your Super Bowl. So you're the only one that wins. The outcome is inevitable if you nail it. You're going to win.
Well, when the World Series is going on, there is no other baseball game going on. None.
Good point.
Super Bowl's happening.
Yeah.
There's no other football game going on.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say this though, Kate, you brought something very interesting. You said Giving Tuesdays are Super Bowl, and you're not wrong. It's okay to focus on that. And it's this society.
Yeah. Well, this is not a marketing thing. I'm using that I'm using Super Bowl.
No. But what I'm saying is, and I'm not nitpicking though, but Kate, how many other organizations Super Bowl is Giving Tuesday? All of them. Every organization is asking. Yeah. Folks can only give so much at one given time. So what I'm saying is by utilizing that is like stack the deck in your favor, right? With one particular event. Yeah, I think that's huge. Yeah. There's so much going on that one day. I love that.
That the whole idea, my first part of this was that I just want to say, this is a way to reach out. So all this online giving, that 177, all that is, it's another opportunity to have those out there. I've got some really quick things if you're going to do this, some really quick points. And this is again from somebody who worked for an organization that raised I think they raised $8 million a year off of online fundraising.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And some statistics were don't give them any more but 3 choices.
Keep it brief.
Yeah. If you say 25, 50, or $75, but you know what the most amazing thing was? There was an other. They in all their deal, they found out statistically they would say, like say 25, 50, $100, or maybe it says 25, 50, 75, and then they'd put other.
Smart.
Said, well, the average is probably going to be around that 50. And he goes, nope. He goes,
around 75.
It was 150. No. Yeah. He said, you'd be surprised how many people, because they believe in what we're doing, they believe in the cause, and they just go ahead and write their own number, 100, 150. It's amazing. Some people
they want the ownership of writing their own number. They don't want someone deciding that with their dollars.
That's right. It was really interesting, and I thought that was so keep those things in mind. One more thing, and I'll and this was.
Thank you, Kate. It was only a great point because you brought it up. So thanks for sharing. Yeah. That's the kind of good stuff that we get when you share. So thanks so much.
On the online giving, so it was like, why do always organizations ask for 19? This is something I'd never thought about because I don't sit in that seat of the nonprofit. Why do they ask for $19 instead of 20? Because if you do $19 a month, it's less than $250, and you don't have to do reporting for it. You don't have to do the receipt and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So something to think about. Okay.
Huge.
Well, those are things that I just wanted to bring up. If you treat this, that was one. The law of large numbers is, if you've got 3,000 people in your database and you have 300 people come to your event, you can still market to all 3,000 of them. And involve everybody in the event, regardless if they're going to show up, because you can have a super opportunity to.
And if you make these things that you send the 3,000, I love that term. That's probably a pretty common, database, volume for an organization. If you make things shareable, where the folks that have given to you before can share with the folks that are in their network. Hey, you might want to check this out. Hey, we're going to this event. Just make the shareability paramount. So the mission and
ask people to do it. If you ask them, they'll.
Yeah, please share. Yeah. I mean, you won't get unless you ask. That's for sure. Or invite them to share. So we always like to say we're trying to create our own HCA vernacular. We instead of asking, we say invite to give. But yeah, good stuff.
One of the things in the law of large numbers that I have spent a lot of time studying over the past 30 years are what I call leaks, and how those leaks, when it comes to large numbers, let's say we have an organization, we're raising 150,000 people, we have 300 people coming to our event. Okay. So if you use the 80-20 rule and you say that 20% are given 80% of the money, that means you've got 60 people who are averaging 2,000 in the giving. Now I know there's net giving, gross giving, sponsorships, all that stuff, but this is just for the easy math. That means you got 2,000, and that means everybody else is averaging 125 a person. But if you can get that 125 person to go just up 20%, that's an extra $6,000 bottom line giving to your event.
How do you do that? How are we going to do that? Give us an example.
Because you want to be equal opportunity receivers, we want to make sure that everybody in the room has a reason to give. And I think there's two things that come up with this. Some things where we've kind of got everybody involved. We'd have like silent auctions. We'd have a little wine pull. We'd have, and I say little, I'm talking, just $25, you get a bottle of wine, things like that. But they didn't raise a whole lot of money, and silent auctions are a lot of work. Now, I still think the silent auction's awesome. I really do. I think the silent auction is,
I think it's
very, very
tragically underutilized.
But I think you got to, let's be reasonable. Nobody wants to get a free, or nobody wants to, pay $125 for a dental checkup.
Yeah. God bless the dentist for donating it, but
it's just not on the radar.
It's not exciting. It's not fun.
Well, it's just, and people wind up doing that kind of, they give that, oh yeah, sure, here's a certificate for free cleaning or free whitening or something like that. Okay, that's great. But, let's really, I may need it, but that's probably not going to just, while I'm drinking red wine, I'm thinking about, I probably need to get a teeth white. But my point is, how do we get those other 240 people involved? How do we get them involved at a level? Because some of them are going to come, they've got nothing to attach to. They were invited there, they're eaters, and, they're consumers, not donors. How do we get them to be a donor? And the way that we can do that are things like golden ticket. One thing I've found this fascinating, especially over the past couple of years. We've gone into this minimalist mindset. I want to do less because, it's just a lot of work. It's all hard. I mean, all of it's hard, so it's going to be there. But you've got this opportunity. You've brought 300 people that care about your event, that somehow ever attached to it. They show up, and now we want to give them an opportunity to donate. One of the things I think that we miss in gala fundraising is that sometimes you have to give to get, things like the raffles. Why not do more than one?
Fun. It's different price points. It's more fun. It's
so
you get a necklace with beads, and it's, if I don't have one, I want to find out how I get one. I got the bracelet. It's something's blinging. It's just fun. It's just so smart. Yeah.
But 4 to 5 things, you want to have 4 to 5 things that people can do, because your live auction, I say the live auction fund to need is one. That's just one thing. It's all together because you're going to do it at the same time.
Usually side by side. Yeah.
If you have a silent auction, that's 2. If you have a golden ticket, there's 3. Now you got 2 more. What do you want to do? So here's a story that I want to tell you that happened to me that changed my life in fundraising when I was in 7th grade. And I learned about the law of large numbers.
Have I heard this one?
I don't know that you've ever heard this story. And I really it's so long ago. It's so long ago. This is back when it was Little House. It was Little House on the Prairie, 1-room schoolhouse. When I was in 7th grade, I went to a very small school in western Oklahoma. So 7th through 12th, we were all in the same building. And they had an indoor carnival. And this was when everybody could raise money, and it was for your class.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because we were 7th grade, we got last to choose on everything. The kissing booth, the dart board, the fishing thing, where you have like a cow tank and you'd get the fish at, all these little carnival things. There was nothing left. We got done, and there were 2 things left: bingo and a cakewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. We did both of them. And because I said, can we do both of them? They go, yeah, we don't care. Because the teachers, they're like, yeah, whatever. And so we did both of them. We all brought in donated toys, everything, stuffed animals, things like that we just put up there for free stuff that we had. We sold, I think, 50 cents a card, and, you get 3 for $1, something like that. We did some little things like that. We raised so much money on the cakewalk and bingo that we were not allowed to participate in the next 3 fundraisers for the next 3 years. We outraised the little 7th grade class with bingo and cake. We outraised the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, outraised them by like 2 times. We raised so much money. So my point is things that let people participate. And that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing was because we could have multiple people participate at the same time. You know, the thing about like a charity auction, big fan, we love them. You know, that's how we sell trips and things like that. And it makes a lot of money for nonprofits. But you've only got a couple of people that are going to participate. And I say a couple, that top 20%, the people that can do it. So how can we expand that? By doing a craze, doing something where you can sell something multiple times. We see it time and time and time again when people employ this strategy. And I'm not doing this to try to sell trips. That's not the point, but it's just to get more people. As we start, the law of numbers, we leverage their vacation budget with their giving budget. You know, it's a Caribbean all-inclusive and you sell it for $2,500 and you sell it 10 times and net $10,000. It happens every time. And maybe not 10 times, but 6 to 8 is the average.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you've got people involved that have never been involved because they can't buy the $5 or $10 or $15,000 package. They just can't. They don't have that kind of capacity. But they got $2,500.
Yeah.
A golden ticket. Why does it work? Because they get a chance at something. People love to gamble, even though we're not a
gamified.
It's gamified. They want a chance at something. And if they get a chance, they're going to take it. If you say, here's $100, for $100, you're going to get a chance to win something that's worth $3,000 or $4,000, and there's only 100 of them, they're going to do it all day. For $250, they'll do it. You could do the same thing with a raffle. You know, it's kind of funny. We do another type of raffle where it's like, you know, you get 10 tickets for $100 or a wingspan, you know, wingtip to wingtip of somebody for $250. Well, it's not about being fair. It's about getting the $250. I don't care how many tickets it is. We really don't care in this matter. We just want $250 donation. Well, you get 100 people to do that. That's $250. That's $25,000.
Yeah.
We had a group do that. They raised $33,000 doing it, because they got people to participate more. And you don't have to put a cap on that.
You said like you threw some number out there where like someone's like, you know, like a large portion of the people in the room gave on average like $150. And that's how you're going to get them to give more, and you're going to get that.
Yeah, you've got 80 people that are going to give 125. And this is really important and hopefully everybody here's using software. Everybody that's listening is using software. If you're not, please use it, because the first time you're going to raise 30% more money, some kind of software, some kind of fundraising software. But all that data in there lets you know exactly what the numbers are. How many times people bid on stuff, but they didn't win? How many times, you know, what was the average gift per person? Break all those statistics down. See where your event measures up, and then you're going to know where to measure. You may have a deal where your average, you know, your top 20%, the top 20% of your attendees, maybe your average is $9,000, but everybody else was 50. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe your top 20% is $5,000, and the bottom 20%, the 20% is $200. So you've got to just use what your numbers are to know where you can focus on and to maximize those dollars. People like to get something. And one of the final things that I really think is a great way to get people to participate is, you know, the paddle drop, the last shot at it. This is the last thing. I'm going to say a paddle drop. Some people just hold the number up and they do it. Some people put their bidder card in and ask it.
There's some cool creative ways to do it. Yeah.
But it's just one more shot, and then do a giveaway. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give something away here at the last deal. We've got 2 tickets that we're to George Strait. We're going to give those away. Somebody in, but everybody's going to everybody that puts their paddle in. And what we're looking for is 100% participation. Yeah. If you're a couple, you know, and the mister has been, you know, he's got his number and he's signed up, we also want the missus to give. So we want everybody.
What kind of price point do you suggest? I mean, of course, it depends on the room, but
$50 to $100. $50 to $100.
Yeah.
But what it does, it's going to help you move the number, because you get 300 people to give you $50 more.
It's $15,000. Yeah.
It's $15,000. And that's where the leaks come. See,
Yeah.
it's 6,000 here. I had somebody go, well, we just didn't have time, so we didn't do it. What do you mean? When's the next time you're going to have 300
When's the next time you're going to have your Super Bowl?
Yeah, when's your next Super Bowl? My gosh.
Yeah, it's cool, Kate.
So, Kate, let me explain it real quick.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept.
Basically, you walk around with baskets. Everybody's got their bidder number.
Let me interject really quick, Jay.
Yeah.
At the end, right? The auction over, funding over. It's like we want 100% participate. We're so grateful that everyone's gotten involved in all these other facets. We've announced the golden ticket, raffle winners, all that stuff. I just wanted to preface that it's at the end.
And the reason that you do it is this way, because it's easy. They don't have to write anything. You don't have to sign anything. Yeah. They take their bidder number and they just put it in the basket. You have volunteers walk around with baskets, and everybody that drops one in, they just know they're going to be in for another $50. Walk over there, they sort it out, pull it up. Hey, number 87's the winner. Yay, Calvin. And Calvin won the tickets to go see the George Strait concert. So that's how it works. It's just a very simple thing, but it's one more thing that you're going to get that additional donation and make it easy. So that's the law of large numbers. The just means the more people we can get to participate, the more money we're going to raise, because we're not so much trying to get a certain amount as we're just trying to get the participation.
And that will lead to, you're giving them a reason to participate.
Once somebody gives you 50, you've got an opportunity to go back and ask them for another 50, for another 500, for, expand your range out.
Once
they've given, it's kind of like breaking the ice.
When's the best time to sell something? Right after you sold something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. You said, like, when someone's given 50, you can ask them to give 50 again. You can ask them maybe to give 500. Another thing is underutilized, and you can get in the weeds with this with software, because Jason, there's so much data there, not just for moving forward and writing your own playbook or operating procedure for your event, but also the night of, right then in the moment. We say this a lot, but we'll say it again. Someone put their paddle in the air. Maybe you've never met them before, and they put their paddle in the air for a live auction item at $4,000, but they didn't get it. That was a person that had never been to your event before that was willing to give $4,000. Find something to give them, or offer them something else at that price point or less, or just something. It's like they wanted this trip, but we only had one because it was donated. Maybe go talk to the board member that donated and see if they'll donate another one. And just make sure that you can capitalize on those opportunities, because, we don't want those falling through the cracks, because they add up.
Well, we don't want to let last night, for those of y'all that don't know, the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Yankees are up. They're down, 3-0. Day before yesterday, they come back and they win game 4. Then they're going to play. They're up 5-0. And they dropped one ball.
You want to talk about leaks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. As you can tell, Jason and I were pretty tuned in.
Cascade. Yeah. So, we were tuned in and paying attention.
Yeah.
But, you start having that mindset that, well, it's just $500. Gosh, okay, we won't get this. It was $1,000. We'll make it up somewhere else. No, you won't. You won't, because
I will make it up in Giving Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, be really careful about all the leaks. Don't let anything out of the boat.
That's a great point.
You want to get more people involved, because the more people you get involved, you're inevitably going to have some leaks.
Yeah.
But, would I rather have, which one would you rather have? Would you rather have 30 people giving you $1,000 or 300 people giving you $100? That's a question. Everybody put in the chat which one you'd rather have.
Well, that's a great question.
I know everybody's going to say, well, I want both. Well, obviously, which one?
Articulate it one more time. Articulate the numbers one more time.
Would you rather have 30 people giving you $1,000 a year, or would you rather have 300 people giving you $100 a year? Same amount of money.
Interesting.
Robin says 300. Anybody else?
Come on, everybody. 300. Cool.
Calvin said
we need more participation.
Well, here's the reason. Here's the reason why.
Less is more.
Well, here's the reason. You guys are right on it, and I'm so glad to see that, because you're going to have some attrition. Which one is it easier to go find? Is it easier to find somebody to give you $100 a year, or somebody to give you $1,000 a year?
Good question.
We already know what the numbers are. The average per person, $737. So finding people to give $1,000 is pretty tough. you start talking about getting those numbers, it's so much easier to find, go replace that $100 a month, or, that person giving you $100.
Especially the night of, though, as well, right? Because everyone's there. It's exciting. People are giving in front of others. So you have a little bit of peer pressure. There's some psychology involved.
Yeah, I want them anytime, because everybody that's just because you got 300 people coming. No, but 300 people coming to your event, once they've given money, giving something, now you have a reason to thank them. If they just came up, showed up, swilled wine and ate 3 desserts, what are you thanking them for? And they didn't buy a table, they were a guest. You really don't
have to any leftover wine, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot for coming and helping us make sure we didn't have any leftover wine. Yeah, making sure you got those extra desserts. We didn't want to have to take those home.
I love them more.
I'm being a little funny, but but really, because we don't separate it out that way. But it does make a difference. Once we want to just get every opportunity we can to let somebody to do it. Mm-hmm. And, when you're doing that paddle drop or you're doing that last ask, and you can do this, the way simple do it is on your fund to need. Ladies and gentlemen, we've raised a whole lot of money here.
After it's done.
Thank everybody, but we're going to ask you one more time. And then we're not going to ask you for money anymore. We're going to get on with the band. We're going to have a party. The bar's going to still be open. We're going to do that. But we're going to ask everybody to drop your bid number into the basket. One time, it's for a $50 donation. And all we're trying to do is to get all of you, everybody involved. If you're a couple, we're asking both of you to do it.
Big team win. Team win.
And really what it does, it gets everybody, there's lots of ways to do it. We've got a guy, an auctioneer we know, he gets people to stand up.
Yeah.
He says, when you do it,
movement.
And oh my gosh, it becomes an emotional thing. Nobody wants to be left sitting in their chair.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out, fear of, nobody wants to be.
The peer pressure involved. You don't want to be the person sitting down. I love that. This is one of the.
And you know what's interesting to me is I had somebody say, well, what's, the person that just gave you $25,000, you're expecting them to do that? And I'm like,
yes,
they're usually the first people to do it. They're the first people to raise their hand because they know,
they'll be bashful.
One more time.
Be bashful. Yeah. I want to do a call for questions. If any of this is resonating, you have more questions or follow up or anything like that. Jason created this content for today, and there was a point that you brought up about how to design events that maximize donor participation and create excitement. And we're talking about that a little bit. We talked about a few things. I love that you brought up the World Series or Super Bowl moniker. We're talking about broadcasting it everywhere. We don't mean necessarily a live stream. Very interesting conversation I had yesterday with someone who specializes in video storytelling, and she does events, and she has a team, and she has her team create a sizzle reel at every single event so it can be posted. And I was like, man, that's just a great, everyone just go create a sizzle reel. Okay. Have the people that you hire, have someone on your board has a child, or someone on your committee, or someone on your staff, or someone just is good at these things. They create their own sizzle reels for themselves. Find someone that can, you got the most powerful.
Everybody's walking around with a camera that you can put together.
And the shareability. You're talking about casting a wide net and broadcasting and more engagement, all these things. So we came up with an idea, and she said, she's a fundraising auctioneer. She's also a TV personality, TEDx speaker, super, super accomplished gal. And she said, I'm getting questions a lot by nonprofits, organizations that we're doing galas for, about hiring influencers to get more people interested in giving to the organization, exposed to the organization, the mission, the people they serve, and then get more people interested in coming to the event. And I said, that's interesting because it could be costly, influencer, quote unquote. But typically these events are happening in your community, right? I mean, not typically every time. And so we came up with an idea, and I just wanted to share it. I hadn't even ran this by you yet, Jay. So I said, well, why not grab folks that are very prolific at creating these reels? They do it for their own business. And how about exposing them to what you do at your organization and the mission that you serve? And once again, these folks are in business, so they want this exposure. And then giving them a couple tickets to come and share at the event. The caveat being that they need to create content at the event, pre-event, red carpet, the whole, oh my gosh, look how fun this is. And they create the sizzle for you. And I came up with an idea as well locally. Like we had these 2 realtors, a husband and wife team, and they are very, very content savvy. And they are disrupting like the old guard of realtors and brokers in my area. And, they actually get leads and conversions and things like that. And people go, why? Well, we saw you on Instagram, or we saw you on TikTok. So why, like, for instance, why would you grab the husband and wife realtor team that are really prolific at this and let them create some of that broadcast and sizzle for you? You know these people, right? Like, these people are in your community. Someone on your board, someone on your committee knows these people. So get them involved, have them come.
Which goes back to the whole point. That's how you're going to get out there. Just go. I
Yes.
think it's a great idea because, we all have our, everybody's got a social media account. If you don't, I mean, you need to have one, but you're putting all this stuff out there and nobody's seeing it. Unless they subscribe, they're not going to see it.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is, you're putting it on your account. We have social media. I hope everybody here likes and subscribes and goes and sees our stuff. But the reality is,
where the door is.
it's for people that are going to go look for us. It's out there. We do it because that way people that are looking for us and they can find us. But the biggest thing is you go find somebody who's really got some activity and you want to gain access, making your Super Bowl, getting them to broadcast your World Series.
Unforgettable.
Well, come talk about it and to be there and get their engagement. All of a sudden you get more people because it's surprising. Everybody thinks, oh, the only people that are watching this. There is zero. There is absolutely, you cannot put a segment of the population that's on social media or not on social media. But it's like, what's the deal? TikTok. It's like online crack.
Yeah.
I mean, because you sit there and do it, you swipe it,
all
of a sudden,
don't go there.
Yeah, you're seeing all this stuff. Well, it's there. It's the real world where we're at. So you might as well do it. And if that can help you get your Super Bowl broadcast out to another 3,000 people, 4,000, 10,000 people that would never see it before, that's what you're trying to do.
I'm telling you, the local business person that is crushing content or couple, like, I love that couple idea. Are you trying to tell me that if I approach them about, there's a domestic violence organization upstairs in the building that I'm in right now, and they have an event, and if I told that couple, the real estate couple, that you get to get dolled up, dressed to the nines, bring your phone, promote the heck out of this, and we'll get, you have dinner and all that stuff. Are you trying to tell me that they wouldn't say yes? You know what I mean? It's like, we just need you to ask. And there's probably 0 degrees of separation. There's probably someone on your board, your committee, your staff that knows who these people are or pay attention to it at least. Just have that conversation. Then another big thing, and we talk about this a lot, is, it's going to create that, well, oh, you missed that event? They were there. Look how much fun they're having. My gosh, the people are kicking off their shoes and dancing at the end after the paddle drop and all this. It's like, I mean, you can't underestimate the value of that kind of excitement and, most importantly, attention to your organization. I think these are just clever ideas where we need to twist the dial and just start asking. So, or once again, inviting people to come and be a part of it. I mean, it's right there. Yeah. We came up with that in real time on the LinkedIn Live yesterday. It was actually really, really cool.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
All right.
More questions. Anyone? Are you pulling up a winner?
I am.
Oh, cool. Okay. We're going to give some stuff away. What are we going to give away, though, today?
Well, they're going to have to spin to find out.
Get ready, everybody. Start stretching right now, and we'll do a last call for questions. Anything that we touched on that you'd like us to embellish on a little bit more? I will also nudge everybody, if you want to spend half hour, 45 minutes with Jay, free coaching. You can go to the website, just click on the free coaching button in the resources tab. Sign up for a half hour. Talk about the paddle drop. Talk about making your event more exciting. Talk about the law of large numbers. Anything fundraising, we're around. You could talk to me if you want. Most people ask for Jay because he's our head coach.
All right. Here comes. Our winner is Andy Corbin. Andy, come on down, spin the wheel. And here we go. We're going to see what Andy's going to win.
Cool, Andy.
Holy smokes, what a winner.
That's too much, Jason. $500.
Yeah, I know. $500 in HJ bucks.
Okay, all right.
And you're going to get to use for an event or item, HJ for your next event. Yeah, so you just
fun item, an item that, a game of chance item, like a golden ticket, really cool stuff, something exciting. Someone from our team will be reaching out to you, Andy. Thanks so much for coming. Thank everybody for coming. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good.
Good. I hope everybody got some out of this. I mean, that was the whole idea. Make this your Super Bowl. Use the large numbers. Go out there and, because, this only comes around once a year. You do all this work. Let's not waste it. Catch every dollar and penny that you can.
You can catch a lot more just by twisting the dial just a little bit. Just a couple clever ideas. Good stuff. Hey, same time, same channel next week, Thursday, noon Central, we will see you all back here. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Appreciate
Thanks, brother.
Everybody. Hey, we got some good ones coming up, so don't miss them.
We have some really good ones coming up. We'll keep teasing those out on the social channels. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.